Hello, just wanted to share my Fuse workflow. We've had a lot of users at High Fidelity that have struggled with the bane of eyelashes. So I was going to show you my workflow to kind of fix things up. There is an optional thing here. If anybody's run into issues where the arms get spaghetti, like weird mesh issues, I'm going to show you how to fix that, but it requires that you have Maya, and I know not everybody does. So if you don't, just skip that part. Okay, so what we've got here is pretty simple. I just did a hair at 1K. I did the body at 1K, and I did the shorts at 1K. That's probably overkill on the shorts. Let's bump that to 5. That's probably good. 512. Yeah, so once you get your model how you want it, then you're going to send it to Mixamo just like normal. Don't change the name, though. We're going to keep it Fuse model. That will be important later, and I'll tell you why. Actually, this is going to be going. I don't know how long it takes. Whoa, I did a glitch. I done did a glitch. Okay, it's probably because I was clicking stuff. Oh, jeez Louise. It's really... I should have just waited. If I had known, I would have waited. Alright, so I think once this starts to upload, it won't annoy us as much. Yeah, okay. So that takes a minute for the rigger to work. And while that's happening, we are going to export our textures. What I've found is, and we're going to use the Binfong specular gloss, and this is just for naming purposes. If you wanted to do physically based and rename or plug in your textures manually, you can do that, and it might make things look a little bit better. But I am not going to do that. I'm going to do specular gloss so I don't have to rename anything, and you'll figure that out in a minute when I show you. So we export those, and so those are now in the my download folder. And if you can see here for the diffuse, we have working eyelashes with an actual alpha behind them. We have glowy nostrils, which isn't great, so it doesn't fix everything. I actually think if you export this in a different format, the nostrils are fixed, but I'm not going to rename anything. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete some of these maps that we aren't going to use. Like specular, I don't use. What else? So those are gone. And then I don't use ambient occlusion, but let's leave it. I don't think it makes a difference on this. Like some people might do that, and this is not a huge memory hog or anything. So let's see if that has rigged. Okay, there he is. And you can see that the hair is goofed up, looks blocky, choppy, and the eyes are still messed up. But we're going to say finish, and then we're going to download the FBX. And once it's downloaded, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I'm talking about with the deformation of the mesh in Blender. So just as this is, I'm going to download it, and then I'm going to open it in Blender. And just real quick to show you the deformation I'm talking about. So file, import FBX. If you don't have that, you might have to go to user preferences and do the FBX import, or I think I had to do that. Then we're going to import that, and there it is. Now if we go into pose mode, and then I like to do the x-ray so I can see the skeleton, and then if I rotate this arm down, doesn't look too bad, but I rotate this one up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me get rid of the x-ray and see this yucky, chunky, not real immersion breaking gap. We reject that. We say nope. It's not terrible, but it bothers me. So I tried a long time to fix it, and this is the only thing I found that worked. And this is silly because I don't actually use Maya for anything else. I want to. I'm going to learn eventually. But for right now, this is all I'm using it for. And all we're going to do is once this loads, because it does take a minute to load all the different exporters and whatnot. So I give it a second. We're going to import that exact same file. And then we're going to just export it. We're not going to do anything else. So we're going to import. And then it's in downloads. Where is downloads? Okay, here we go. It's going to be huge in here. I don't know why. There's some weird thing about the FBXs that Blender does, but so it's gigantic in here. But I'm not going to even touch anything. Like I haven't learned Maya at all. So just going to export all. You do have to make sure that embed textures is ticked here. And then we're just going to save it right over our Fuse model. Yep. So it's as if we did nothing. I wish the FBX converter would work, but it doesn't seem to. So that's what we got. And like I said, this step is optional. If you don't have Maya, feel free to skip it. A lot of people don't, so that's fine. But yeah. All right, so we're going to do exactly the same thing. File, import FBX. And in downloads, we've got that Fuse model, and there it is. And now if you look real quick like at the armature for pose mode, I'm going to go to enable X-ray. Do this shoulder. Uh-oh. That's a new one. Oh, I'm not in. I'm not in pose mode. I misclicked. Okay. That would have been interesting. Okay, right click and bend down. And now you'll see it's much. Oh, shoot. I messed up. Clicked the wrong bone. I can't see nothing. Much better. See? Alrighty. So I'm getting down to that. And just Control Z, 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 Z. Yeah. Alright. So now we're going to fix our textures. Because if we go into material mode, we will see, here I'm going to add a hemi light. We still got messed up eyelashes, and the hair is having issues. So if we actually look at the body texture here, you will see that the alpha is not showing up. And I can show you that if you click this little button here, packed file, click to unpack. It's under image. Then you're going to want the bottom one, write file to original location, overwrite existing file. What that will do is create a new folder in wherever you downloaded it called fusemodel.fbm, and that has all of the packed textures that you downloaded with the FBX. And you can find the problem right here. It's got no eyelashes. It's just got black. There's no alpha. Whereas in this one, we can see there's the alpha. Okay. So that's what we're going to fix. I have to make sure a couple things here. Make sure the hair also is unpacked. And it's going to be that same override existing. And those should be the only two. Well, let me see. Let me make sure we don't have to do. I think we have to do the shorts too. Yeah. So if you're doing more than that, you would have to unpack all of these. Okay. Then we're going to take the textures we exported. So let me be clear about this. The FBM are the ones that downloaded. They're the ones that were embedded in this. They do not have the correct alpha for the hair or the eyelashes. This Fuse model is the one that we copied. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all of these that were embedded. I'm going to cut and paste these in here. And now if we go back to the body and we tick the show alpha, okay, so it's still black there, but watch this. Ba-dunk. Now we have eyelashes. Hooray. Okay, but what do they look like here? They look white. So something's still not right. And there's still a couple things we have to do. The first thing we need to do is delete all the opacity maps. See, this is what they were doing. It must work somehow, where this masks the opacity. But for whatever reason, it's not working. So we're going to delete that. And we're going to delete, don't worry about this right now, it's just because the alpha. We're going to delete the specular as well, because I didn't even bring in that map. We can keep gloss. And then we want to make sure that we move these to the bottom. I'll show you that in a minute too, because we'll have to do this several times. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the alpha channel here. And then make sure this is on mix. Okay. Now he looks all shiny and stuff. That's because the specular is up right now. What I use is Menethal's tool and remove all metallic, and that will get rid of all of that. Essentially what that does is change this specular from white, where it's all glowy, to black, which is what you do for non-metallic. Okay, so that's that. We still, or now we have our eyelashes. See, no more problems there. We got to do the same for our hair. I'm going to add the alpha, change this to mix, and oh, we got to delete the opacity, the specular. We might have to hit refresh on this. That's weird. Why didn't it? Huh. Show alpha. Oops, I'm on the wrong one. I don't know why this isn't. Oh, there we go. So just had to refresh it. Okay, so that's as good as I know how to do it. And then I just go through and I delete any of the maps that we don't need just to make the file size reasonable. You notice I did that all in the body map because the body map is, as you can see here, is the same one that has the eyelashes and the eyes. So the eyes are under default. Mr. Bunny Eyes, geez Louise, gonna need some clear eyes. I'm gonna go through and delete all the maps we don't need. So we don't need specular, and we don't need opacity. Okay. Oh. Now, we do need to make sure that we turn off transparency. For anything that you don't need the alpha, like the shorts don't have an alpha. There's nothing that needs it there. So you want to make sure that it's not transparent. So you're going to turn off transparency. That's in the material tab. It's not in the texture tab. It's in the materials. For us, we only have to do it on this one because the body and the hair both have alphas. But the shorts don't. Normally, if you have a full outfit, you'll have to do that. You can actually leave it if you leave the opacity maps, but let's not worry about that for right now. Okay, so this is pretty much ready to go. I like to delete all the other stuff, like the lamp and the Hemi. It's going to get dark, but don't worry. And then I go to all scenes up here and to orphan data, and then just get rid of all this. This is just make sure that's not left over in the FBX. It doesn't really matter, but if somebody downloaded it and took a look at it, they would see all these weird lamps and material remnants, and we don't need any of that. So, okay, so I'm going to select all. Oh, is there still a camera? Yeah, still a camera. Get rid of that too. And select all, file, export, FBX. And I'm going to just put it on the desktop, and I've already got one called Brute here, but I'm going to save over the top of that. Oh, shoot, I messed up. File, export, FBX. You got to make sure that you do armature and mesh. You want copy to make sure the textures are embedded. You do the little embed textures here. Just so intuitive to put a piece of paper in a box. That means embed textures, duh. And then we're going to save that. Okay, so our final file size is how big? 10, just over 10 megabytes, which I mean, I don't know. It's got to be good enough for me because I've seen bigger. So let's just say that's fine. Okay, now I'm going to jump into my sandbox. Jump into my sandbox with me. And it's going to load for a minute. I've been practicing loading things, so it's kind of a mess. It takes a minute to load, and I've done lighting and stuff too. Okay, so here's my little play area. I've got a little zone over here that I like to do stuff. So if we can kind of see it here. Hey, what did I do? Squeak, I tell you, squeak. Okay, two. There we go. Hello, it's me. So we got to pack that first, and I've had better luck with packaging from here. So I mean, some people use the Hi-Fi tool, Manethal's tool, and sometimes if I'm having trouble with one, that works better. But I found with this workflow, it just seems to work better if I package this way. I make a new folder. We're gonna call it Brute, and save it. And then we're going to copy this FST file. And this is something I just learned. So you can right click this and copy, and then just paste that right into here. Ba-da! It didn't. It totally didn't work for some reason. Hmm. First time that hasn't worked. Okay, I'm reloading made it go. I don't know why. Oh, it's because I did that before. So as you see, I mean, there's still some issues here. Like the hair is still weird. It's not great. But you have eyelashes. You have hair. Everything else looks pretty good. I mean, let's see what a dance might look like. So, yeah, pretty good all around. And there you go. Yeah, it's gonna loop, I think. Just mesmerizing. Stop dance. And there you have it. And it's not perfect, but it's something. And hopefully that helped you in some way. If you have any questions or anything, come visit us and help. And we can help you walk through it. All right. Catch you on the other side.